I'm going to keep going. Surely we can also agree that lawyers should, acting as lawyers, should not make counterterrorism policy. Here's what I mean by that. I mean that our leaders need to be the ones who make the hard judgments about what will work, what is the right thing to do, and then ask the lawyers, can we do this? Tell me if this is within the bounds. Tell me whether this is lawful. We should not simply resolve to do everything that is legal and then turn to the lawyer and say, what's legal? Tell me what the sidelines are. We'll do everything within those sidelines. Because I think that surrenders important policy decisions to lawyers who are here to tell you wonderful people, but they are not people best equipped to make these policy judgments. And they weren't chosen to make these policy judgments. They are smart. Their job, though, is to hear from the policymaker, I'd like to do X. What is the legal view of X? Not tell me the world and I'll fill it in. It is simply not acceptable for a senior policy maker to say, if the intelligence agencies say we need to do this, and again, fill in your own this, but if the intelligence agencies say we need to do this, and the lawyers say it's legal, there's nothing more to talk about. There's plenty more to talk about. There may be things that are legal and that are effective that we shouldn't do. That's what a policymaker is charged with deciding. I could do it. Lawyers tell me it's okay. Intelligence community tells me it'll work. But that judgment cannot be evaded and shifted either to the lawyers or to the intelligence operators. The policymakers owe that to the people they represent. Surely, I hope, but I'm going to just say it positively, surely we can agree that we should do all we can to resist the collateral effects of what I think is a uniquely American impulse to fix blame. Fix blame in all circumstances, but fix blame in the event of an attack. And here I want to talk a little bit about the 9/11 Commission. The 9/11 Commission did tremendous good. But it also had a profoundly debilitating and little discussed effect on the guts of counterterrorism work. And I'll tell you what I mean. When I got to Washington, I had been an assistant U.S. attorney who worked on terrorism cases, and then I'd been the United States attorney in Manhattan working on terrorism cases. But I saw something new when I came to Washington. I had always imagined that at the ground floor of our government was a fire hose, maybe bigger than a fire hose, of information that came in. So containing threats and leads and all kinds of things related to counterterrorism. And I had always imagined that the president's at the top of the building and that the fire hose got whittled down in diameter until when it emerged at the top floor, it was a drinking fountain that the president could drink, comfortable cold stream of threat information, tips, things that he needed to know. And I further imagined that in all good counterterrorism work, like all good criminal investigative work, the essential exercise was deciding what is garbage and what is real. Looking at two pieces of information and saying, okay, this one in my left hand, that's garbage, forget that. The one in the right hand, that looks like it could be real, and passing it up to the next level where that exercise of winnowing would continue. Mixing my metaphors, winnowing, and hoses, but you get the point. What I discovered when I became Deputy Attorney General was that there was great fear, almost paralyzing fear, in the post-9/11 Commission era of being the one who did not share the information, who did not pass the lead, who didn't pass the threat. People remembered vividly inside the FBI what had happened to the intelligence people and the law enforcement people involved in the failure to search Zacarias Moussaoui's belongings. What had happened to those who had been involved in the passing of a tip about whether Muslim men were taking flight training. It came called electronic communication, EC, from an agent in Phoenix named Williams. These stories were on the front of their minds, on the tip of their tongues. And as a result, every lead was followed. Every scrap of paper was shared. The fire hose was passed floor upon floor upon floor till every morning it blasted the president in the face in the Oval Office.